I talk a lot on this podcast about development. So when you talk about getting better, what does it take?
The most important thing is putting yourself in question. I
Mm.
think people that they don't see what they do wrong, they only see what they do good, right? And I think that's the main thing is to be hard with yourself and like fix it, and improving and getting better.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are now tuned in to the EPB podcast, the podcast dedicated to exploring culture in soccer in America through talking to professionals, fans, and junkies of the game just like me. Today, I have a great guest for us. He is a professional soccer player currently playing for the Atlanta United Twos from France, Mr. Karim Tmimi. What's up, brother?
How you doing, man? Thank you for the invite.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on.
I
Look.
can make a modification as well. I'm from Morocco too, really
Oh,
important
yeah.
culture, and I can't forget that. So I'm from France and Morocco.
France and Morocco. I love it. Were you born in Morocco, or you just all your
Born
family?
in France.
Yeah.
My both parents, they immigrated from Morocco to France when they were young, and I'm like the first generation who grew up
First generation. Yeah, I like that. So during the World Cup, who do you root for? Because Morocco did well this past World Cup.
Morocco needed my help more than France, man.
Yeah.
They needed my support more, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at that.
But yeah, I was really, really proud because, Morocco, we come from so far, so you have to support Morocco, And
100%.
I was really happy for France too, but France is already a big nation of soccer.
Always.
So.
Yeah. So Morocco doing their thing, knocking out Portugal giants in the competition. That was crazy to me. So while we're on your roots, why don't you tell me just kind of how your upbringing was, how you got into football, and then how it brought you to America.
So, back home, soccer, it's like a religion,
For sure.
Everyone play on the streets. Every street has a club, right? So there is 17 leagues in France. So you can find a club everywhere you go. So the program there is really easy to play until like from 5 years old, right? So I've been playing since I know how to walk, to be honest. I was in France in my hometown. It's Poitiers. It's like not a big hometown. It's between Bordeaux and Paris. So I've been playing there since I'm 20, right? I've been doing all the academy until the adults league. And it became a year where I was kind of looking at myself like I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, right? I was playing fifth division in France. It's a really good division. It's semi-professional. Professionals start from the third league, so we're really close from there. And one guy came to me and he proposed me to come to USA. And the thing is, back home, the difference between here and back home, it's you have to pick between getting a career in the soccer or going to school.
Yeah.
So I was at university, right? So the thing, I had the dilemma between having a practice at 6 p.m. or going to school at 6 p.m., right? So when he proposed me this program to go in USA, learn a new language, having an international degree, playing soccer, having those beautiful infrastructure, I didn't think twice, and I was like, you know what, it's the time. Everything happened for a reason. If I met this guy at the right time, let's just do it. And after I came here at Georgia Gwinnett College in Atlanta, it's like an NIA league. It's not D2, it's not D1, it's NIA. So I played for 2 years until this December, last December. And when I finished my program, I signed for Atlanta United too, my first pro contract at 25 years old.
Yeah.
And that first year, so we just finished actually the season, right? And now I'm going for a second season in January.
Man, how crazy is that? Like, that seems like wait, so how long had you been in Georgia up until you signed that first contract?
2020. I came here in 2020.
2020. So in the middle of COVID, you even made that
Exactly,
move.
COVID. Exactly. I came here for like 2 months. COVID came. Boom, I had to go back home until August. I came back in September 2020 to really start my journey,
Yeah. How was it? Was it a transition coming? And obviously you were already playing semi-pro in France. and then coming out here? What was the difference in ball that you noticed immediately?
So off the field, because you have to feel good where you are to play good,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
So when you come and you don't really, I wasn't that good in English, to be honest. French people are bad in English, I'm be honest with you. So when you don't really control the language, you can't really show your personality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You cannot really be yourself. So I was just introvert, observing people, but the thing that I liked was the infrastructure, like stadium, nice locker room. College, they put money, the country put money on the infrastructure and sports, and this is what I liked. So at the beginning, I was a bit introvert, and when I start playing, let's say I let my feet talk for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. For sure.
When I start playing, people will come around me and say, "Hey, what's up, my guy? You're a good player." And you start like building like a friendship and stuff, and it was way easier at the end.
That's kind of the point of all of this that I like push out so much is that, I mean, the language of soccer is kind of transcends actual language, you know? If
Yeah,
you,
it's universal, exactly. It's like every sports, to be honest. Every team sports,
yes.
when it brings you and it makes you create friendship, like relationship, family ways, like build something, and that's really like why it was easy for me to integrate myself at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any people around you at all, or any people that you knew in the States, or you kind of just packed up, came here alone?
No, I came here alone. I have one cousin. That's funny because when I said to my grandma back home in Morocco that I was going to Atlanta, America, she had this old book, right, where she has all the family contacts.
Yeah.
She did this, and she was, you have a cousin in Atlanta. Let me call him. She called him. I never met this guy, right, because it's far family.
For sure.
And he came and he took care of me, showed me around and stuff. And after 2 months, he changed the states because he was working. So he helped me to integrate myself. But at the end, I was kind of by myself too. But I think it's when you come and you meet other international players that play
Right.
with you in college, then the same situation. And so you kind of create a family with them.
Yeah.
So you make it easier.
Were there a lot of international players on GGC?
Yeah. It was like guys from Italy, Colombia,
Wow.
Asian kids. Like it was people from everywhere.
It's funny. I was just talking to a coach about this, and it does seem to be a lot of I mean, also in the NCAA, in the Division I NCAA, but a lot in the NAIA or junior college. There seem to be a lot of internationals who come and play. And so the reason he told me this was because I was asking him what the difference in level was between maybe Division III and Division I college or NAIA or any of that.
Of the school.
Yes, that's really
It's the school project, and the thing is, I'm gonna tell you, we've been playing some scrimmage against D1s.
Yeah.
Like, and we will beat them.
Right.
Scrimmage, and they will not want to play against us anymore because it looked bad for them to lose against some NIA. And why there is a lot of internationals? Because let's say we have to pass the TOEFL. TOEFL is like an English exam back home that you have to pass to come here and be able to follow classes.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And some of us are struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you because you're not good.
It's
I mean,
difficult.
you're decent, but the best way to learn the language is to speak. It's not
Right.
like from books and stuff. So because we didn't have a good grades to go in D1, those NIA teams that have a better program for us at school, they take us. So that's why when you go to some NIA, you see some good teams because there's some good NIA, like international players that come and they create something good.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll talk about a little bit of the story. Like we obviously heard it from Chris Corte, who was on the podcast. He tells this story of you finding this UPSL team, and then from the UPSL, which is the semi-pro experience in America, you being able to play against the Atlanta United, some Atlanta United youth team, and then from there they were like, oh, who is this kid? So first of all, how did you find UPSL?
So back home, the league you play for 10 months. Right?
Yeah.
College is only 6 months. It's per semester. One semester you play, the other semester you go to school and you practice.
Right.
not used to this. I need to play full season to feel like I did something. So I had one friend in my college in GGC. He was playing for a club. The name is KSA, Kalonji Soccer Academy. And I met this man, is Coach Bruno. It's Bruno Kalonji. He's the owner of this KSA. It's his name on the club.
Yeah.
I met him, and he's Congolese, Romanian. So Congolese, they speak French.
Yep.
So me and him already have a connection. He came to me and he said, I'm going to help you. Come to practice every day with me, play the UPSL, and I'm going to help you get what you want to get. So since this day, I was like, okay, I met him for reason too. I'm going to do it. And I went there, and he has a program. He's running the whole club. They have the academy from 5 to 19 years old. And after they have the adult, they call them pro profile. Why? Because he had some players that they're pro, but they don't have a contract. Some of them, they had a contract, and the year after, they became free agent, right?
Yeah.
So getting this team of all those players, and he make a team, and he throw them to UPSL. Like this, they have visibility, they have playing time, playing and stuff. So I did this with him. It was me and my friend Tony Tiente as well. From there, we had a really good team. We were like beating everybody, and we had this game against the U19 that we beat them. And after, the coach from the second team went to the scrimmage against us. So we played, and it was a really good game. And at the end, he liked like 3 or 4 players from our team. And it's like, for them to sign players from Atlanta, it's more valuable than getting players from all around. Why would you go get players all around the world when you can get some that are already in your hometown?
Right.
So after he invited us for like a week, we were like 5 players, and at the end, we were 3. Me, Tony Tiente, and Kofi Tumasi to sign for them last year.
Wow. And it was good because at least you had some guys with you to come and sign and join.
Definitely. And it's my hometown at the end because, I came here in Georgia. You have some people that get drafted to other places, and me, I already knew people. So it was perfect.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but Atlanta is my hometown.
For real?
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta.
So where are you right now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and I've been here for, over 10 years now, but I mean, my roots in soccer and just, kind of who I am is Atlanta. And so, and I will say that moi, j'aime le français. I love French culture. I love French people, And so I'm curious from your idea, is there some kind of link between maybe the Atlanta culture and being in France, or was it completely a shock to you coming down there?
No, it's totally different, man. You can't compare Europe to America.
No, for sure. Yeah.
That's really different.
Yeah.
Not France, even like other countries in Europe, right? But that's what I like too. The mentality in France, people are more introvert, right? If I don't know and I don't have a reason to talk to you, I will not talk to you. When I came here, I would walk on the street. One guy would stop me and say, "Hey, what's up, man? I like your drip." And I would be like, "What does he want?" Right? And at the end, no, it was just friendly. And I said, "Man, I have to change my mentality. Why I'm like this?" And he makes me open myself and change myself as well, right?
That makes sense.
And in this way, right? Like socially way, but like the city and stuff, buildings, like everything is big here.
Yeah.
In France, it's more
dense.
It's closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
still big, but it's more tight, like almost kind of like New York a little bit. But yeah, I agree. I agree.
That's different. Here, if you don't have a car, man, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. In Atlanta, LA too. If you don't have a car, you can't go anywhere. You're stuck. But I agree. Atlanta is especially Atlanta, very kind of warm. Everybody is chill, a little slower, but very friendly. But I do realize even in France and around French people, if you speak to them, then they'll open up. You're right.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
You have to make the first step.
You have to make this first step. And me, again, being from Atlanta, it was always easy to be like, "Oh yeah, vous êtes français? Tu viens d'où?" Like.
For sure.
Yeah.
And they will see you foreign as well. They will like even get more to talk to you. And stuff, right?
Exactly. So that is a good thing.
But there's a multicultural here as well. It's just from a different place, like the immigrations from different spot. And we used to this. This is like the richest of.
For sure.
Think of life is to share different culture, you know.
Yeah, you speak about Kalanji, and I have been following them for a little bit now, just hearing about them and the players they're producing. A lot of black players, a lot of African players of African background. Obviously, the Congolese owner, probably plays a big part in that. But that club and Atlanta in general, seeing that many black players being produced, that is rare, I would say, in America. I mean, the pay to play structure, and mostly the more privileged people have the opportunity to play at the higher levels.
So I will explain you why. Sorry to cut you. Finish.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is when you first noticed it, huh?
Okay, for me, I'm coaching as well right now. I'm
Okay.
coaching the U13 of MLS Next in KSA, right?
Wow, yeah.
And the program of KSA, why we so different, is that we're going to get the kids that they have financial difficulties, because here, if you don't have, let's talk real. If you don't have money, you cannot play.
Right. Fact.
Yeah, how much it is to pay? Even Zlatan Ibrahimovic, when he came, he said he was shocked to the price of the academy to register the kids, right?
Right.
And we scholarship the kids. We have some buses. We go get the kids from where they live. We bring them to practice and we drop them back.
Wow.
We get sponsorship for the travel to pay them the hotel and all those stuff. Give them gears and all those things. And the kids, they come every day.
Wow.
Come every day. They practice hard 4 times a week. Every day they practice
4 times a week.
Hard.
Wow.
4 times a week. They get better. They want to push it, and it makes them get away from bad things that can happen in where they live, like in the ghetto and some things like this.
For
it's
sure.
really a community thing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why. So that's the goal of KSA, is to help everyone, and also like to give a chance to everyone to play at the highest level, because at the end the talent comes from the street.
Right.
Doesn't come from, comes from everywhere, but it comes from the street too. Like the best players are the one who are playing on the street, not the one they were like paying to get like those nice cleats and looking good and stuff. That's social media things. At the end, what really matters is what you have on the feet and your heart.
Yeah. So was it shocking to you to see that?
No. I come from a place where like is really diverse, like culture and stuff. I grew up with a lot of Africans, black, white, Asian. I've been in this since I'm young, so that's why when I'm there, I'm just comfortable.
You feel comfortable. Was it shocking? Yeah, was it shocking to you to understand kind of that here you do have to have the money to play? Like, when did you really understand that?
But the thing is, when I was asking how much was the registration for a year for a kid that is like 12, and they has like 10 siblings at home with the parents that barely speak English, and they're working morning to night to just feed them and pay the rent.
Yeah. Can you remember how much it cost for you to play? I mean, obviously your parents probably were taking care of it.
$120 a year.
I mean, that's miles different than
with the kids. With the whole kids.
With a whole kit, you travel to wherever you need to travel to.
Yeah.
You play against every team, $100 a year, to play at a high level too, as in youth.
Yeah, high level. Yeah.
High level. Yeah, and that's something I just want to hammer home for the podcast, because I think some of the cheapest numbers I've seen for a high level youth soccer is somewhere in the range of $1,500 or $2,000, and it goes up from there.
Here's 4K.
And now you're telling me you're 4K.
Next, so it's the highest level.
The highest level in MLS.
The highest level of the academies.
Yeah,
it's 4K.
$4,000. I mean, you see it here. That's crazy. That's such a barrier for such a huge group of people to come and play. So it's interesting. Okay, so talk about you balling a little bit. Like, all right, so you're playing for Kalanji, you're balling. Have you always been a striker?
Yeah.
You always been a goal scorer. Love that. And then
I've been a striker. I've played a bit in the middle because I like to play like a fake 9 too. So when I drop, I'm kind of in the middle. So I've played a few times as an 8. Yeah, I'm more striker.
More striker. It's kind of a 10 then, like between 9 and 8.
I play 9, 10, and on the left I like
Okay, I like that. Okay, coming off the wing in the left. Are you speedy? I haven't seen you play. I gotta come see you play. You got
Um, I would say I'm more quick feet. I like tight space. I like to combine,
yeah,
you know. I like to be like quick feet and I like to move a lot. I'm not like a type of player who would stay in his position. I like to be free roam to come, create a space as well and
for sure.
like
Bring players with you. Now,
yeah.
was there how different is the level in UPSL? Because some the highest division in UPSL is really high levels. The former pros players play there and everything. What was the difference coming into Atlanta United twos? Because I want to say I looked you up and you scored in maybe your first or second game playing for the twos. Is that correct?
My first starting.
Yeah, your first start. That's what it was. Yeah.
To compare with UPSL, let's say there is less spaces, less time.
Yeah.
Uh, the players are like, how can I say? In UPSL, you will find some teams where they have two, three good players, right?
Yeah.
And they are like really average. Why? Because most of the time, some of them they have a work, they have a job, and
Yeah.
they come when they can to play. It's different to compare with the guys that it's their job to practice every day and play, right?
Right.
Yeah, it changed for sure. The intensity is way different, and but UPSL is a really good league, and I think every year is getting better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Every year is getting better. It's a recent league as well,
Yes. Yes.
right? So
Last
every
10
year is
years.
getting better, and I think it's getting there.
Are you training with the first team as well?
I've been training a few times with them. Like also this week, we've been training with them because they're going to playoffs.
Right.
Right. They're going to play against Columbus on Wednesday, so sometimes we've been playing against them like 11v11, 5v5. We come, we integrate it, and recently I've been called to a friendly game, but I didn't have the chance to come in. But you know, to be honest, if I'll be honest with you, right now I don't really deserve to be on the first team because the season that we did, we didn't make the playoffs, right? And I think I didn't reach the best of myself yet. So
Mm.
if I'm satisfied with myself, I cannot expect something coming. Sometimes it happens. You
Yeah.
never know. You have to be ready for that. But I understand, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like this. First, I want to satisfy myself the way I play, the way I
Mm.
practice. After things will come by themselves.
Yeah. Like you said, once you feel good, then everything starts rolling. Yeah. What about your relationship with coaches? Is that an important part of being on these teams, or is it just you're here to play? It's a job.
No, I think it's important because if the coach trusts you, you play. Me, I'm a type of player who I need to feel comfortable to play the best of myself, right?
Mm.
And the relationship with the coach has been great because you're in a beautiful environment. You know, you come, you get paid to play soccer, so
Yeah.
I don't have no to be mad or pissed. I'm blessed and I'm grateful. So when I come, I go with a smile and I play soccer. So
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit, and because I want this is for anybody young watching. Again, this is more for people who don't even recognize soccer as a good avenue to actually work in. Like you're getting paid to play soccer. What's that feel like? What's your daily life like living in Atlanta now with that?
So I wake up in the morning, I go at the training ground, get breakfast with the guys, practice around 9, right? We finish at 10:30. We got gym after that. We finish shower and stuff around 11:30, 12. I get my meal, come home, eat, get 1 hour nap, right? After I go back, I go to college because I still have some classes,
Still finishing.
right?
Okay.
Yes, some classes to do, so I do it. And after when I'm done, I go coach the kids from 6 to 8.
Wow.
I go home and I shower, eat, and chill.
Yeah, man. It's
I
the
like to be active. I don't like to just have practice and don't do nothing the whole day. I
yeah.
don't feel like. I
Yeah.
feel more alive when I'm active.
Yeah, and I like that. You're up, you're coaching, you're still in the game. Are you watching a lot of soccer, international soccer, or?
Yeah, I do watch
Yeah.
soccer. You know, when I cannot catch a game, I always watch the highlights on Sunday night when you have French highlights, Premier League highlights, Liga highlights, you
Yeah.
know.
So okay, from a French player who's playing in the MLS, who like what are your top 5 leagues? In
Premier League,
Premier League number 1, okay?
Premier League number one. Uh, La Liga, but La Liga is going down a bit
Yeah.
because look, it was the Clasico 2 days ago. I didn't even know it was the Clasico.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it was the Clasico, everybody knew it 2 weeks before.
Every time. Yep.
You
I,
know?
I agree with you. Even though I will say this was probably one of the better Clásicos I've seen in years.
Yeah.
Usually it's
Yeah.
either Barca is miles ahead of Real or Real's miles
Yeah.
ahead.
Tight.
Yeah. Yeah. But this was tight. There's all young players, you know.
Yeah, but the quality of La Liga, it's really good soccer.
Yeah.
It's based off possession, not just physical, right? So yeah, Premier League, La Liga, French, Italy, kind of same. And for me, that's the main leagues in the world. And for sure, I watch MLS now because Atlanta plays, and I follow. Before, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't watching MLS.
For sure. For sure.
And Saudian League, I just watch highlights sometimes.
Of course, yeah.
I
I haven't gotten there yet. So, are you a Cristiano fan?
Me, I'm a good player fan.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm not the type of guy you trying to compare players, because how can you compare two human beings, and even more two players, like the two good players, man, just like enjoy.
Yeah. So you're watching the Saudi League because of all the players they've now brought in, the Manes.
I don't really watch. I follow sometimes. Me, I liked Roberto Firmino was my guy because I'm a Liverpool fan.
That was gonna be my next question. Which is your Prem team? Okay, Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. So I watch sometimes the highlights, what they did and stuff.
His touch is pure, but Firmino is definitely
like type of fake nine.
Yes,
that was class.
Him,
Benzema, that's those number 9 that they recreated the number 9 position.
Yes, yeah. It's not just goal scoring. It's linking up and being creative. That's interesting. It's also interesting that you did not mention Germany, because I've had a lot of arguments.
Oh, I forgot Germany now. I have to put that there. Germany is just better than French and Italy. I would put them third, the La Liga.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's tough for me because I'd rather watch Nice versus Rennes than watch Stuttgart versus,
That's true.
You know
That's
what I mean?
True. But they have 5 teams.
Yeah.
That they really, so I would put them same as France and Italy.
And Italy.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll put them at the same. But for me, Premier League, La Liga, and those 3 are really fighting.
Yeah. How about within the MLS, now that you know some of the players, you keep up with the games, are there any specific players that you watch closely or support outside, in Atlanta or outside?
Specific player I've been following, there's a lot of great players too. I think as well, MLS is going to get even better and better with time.
Yeah.
I think it's improving. And the thing is, sometimes there is difference of level between some teams.
Yeah.
You will see a team that is not performing at all and another team that's really good.
I agree.
And yeah, it's a big country, man. And so time to find their identity, each team to find their own identity, how to play is not easy. And America is a recent country in soccer, so for sure. Takes time. It became way better. Look at the national team; they've been balling too.
Yeah.
So they're in the right way for real.
Yeah, it's on the right way. Is there a feeling being on, especially on like Atlanta United? Because I would say, as it relates to the MLS, there are maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 clubs that are kind of pushing the sport. And Miami is a late entry now, having Messi, but Atlanta United, the second this team was formed. Now, maybe 10 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago, it's been selling out that Georgia, the new Georgia Dome at 50,000 people. There's a rich culture in Atlanta, and now we've heard that the U.S. is bringing their headquarters for their national team to Atlanta. Is there a feeling in the within the team that you know, you guys have a culture, that you have a you know, a way of playing, all of that you guys are pushing the sport forward?
Yeah, definitely. Also, Atlanta, it's a perfect balance, I think. The location, the
Mm,
weather, the
yes.
stadium, one of the biggest in the world, always full.
Yes.
A lot of Hispanic community that full up the stadium. You know, Black American, they're more on basketball and other sports for now, but they're coming in as well. And yeah, I think it's a perfect balance. And I think that's why also, and when you travel from here to Europe, so it means that when the players play from Europe, they travel to Atlanta. It's the closest
Yeah,
instead of sometimes the S side is the East Coast, so it's better than to travel all the way around like the other side of the country. So
for
I
sure.
think they made the right decision.
Do you travel like to the different clubs in the MLS season? Like, do you go to LA or to?
We didn't go to the West Coast because we had to qualify for playoffs, but we definitely go like Chicago, New York, Toronto, Miami.
Yeah,
All the teams that are now like East Coast. We go there and travel every time to play.
for sure. It's interesting again comparing it to Europe, and this is another thing that kind of is crazy to me. Being a big Premier League, I watch all the time, and you hear it like the U.S. is so big that you're actually traveling further than if you were in Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're actually seeing a big transition going up to even Chicago as far, or, you know, Washington, D.C. or something like that.
Exactly. You come in Atlanta, it's warm. You go to Chicago, it's winter, like it's snow.
It's, that's it. That's the life. Talk to me about any like national or pro aspirations, you know, as you go forward. Is that even in your mind? Like if Morocco were to hit you up, or France, Clairefontaine, and say, come out, how would that work? First of all, and is that even in your head, or are you just trying to play the best ball you can right now and then go from there?
Yeah, it's more like this,
Yeah.
getting like step by step.
Yeah.
Uh, and for sure, we all dreamers. I think you have to dream for things to happen. If you don't dream, it's sad,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I think Morocco, they have a really good program that they're building and they're growing with like investing on the facilities, stadium, and all those things. And for sure, if I play good and I make a first division team and keep playing good and things, and for sure, everything can go fast. You
For
never know.
sure.
It's soccer. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
When you watch some players' career, uh, some guys at my age, they were not even pro, and at the end they played the World Cup, and
For sure.
so yeah, for sure, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know. Like I said, I trying to get the best of myself, getting better and better, and after things will come by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. I talk a lot on this podcast about development. So when you talk about getting better, what does it take? Is this a personal thing for you, or are there coaches out there developing you in a way?
I think, in the pro world, coaches are here to take what you already have,
Mm,
right? Going so fast that they don't really have time to like make you progress. Yeah, the youngest, yeah, but they're gonna progress in the
yeah.
playing the game,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, if you don't have what they need, there's another kid that's 16 years old is growing and he has this, and they're gonna take him.
Yeah.
So I think it's like putting the intensity of practice, and the most important thing is putting yourself in question. I
Mm,
think today there's a lot of like people that like they don't see what they do wrong. They only see what they do good, right? And I think that's the main thing is to be hard with yourself and yeah, and like fix it, and improving and getting better, and all those things. But you
yeah.
have to work and get out of your bed. That's the first thing to do, you know?
That's it. Yeah. I saw an interview with Thierry Henry, and he
Yeah.
said he was when he first got to Arsenal, he didn't know how he would even get on the field. He was behind Bergkamp and Pires and all kinds of players, but then he said he started to take a little bit what other players were doing in training. Are there any players like that? You don't even necessarily have to name them, but are there players that you see in training where you're like, oh man, he's next level. I gotta start, training like him.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent. Even in that Atlanta United too, a lot of kids that have so much talent, like skillful. Other players they're really like athletic. Other players they're really smart.
Yeah.
Every time, I think every team that you make, you have to get something from them. This is how you improve too.
Yeah.
I think it's automatic. When you play with some players, you need to inspire yourself.
Yeah, just to be better. Was there ever a feeling like I don't belong?
Like on the team?
Yeah, on the team or any team you've played on.
No, never.
That's good. I feel like that's the first blockade that you have to get through when you're a player.
But soccer, they all talk about hard work and stuff, but there is one point that they don't really talk about, it's psychology work. Because there have been, if you watch Arsene Wenger, he did an interview, but it's in French. It's like a meeting with a lot of people listening to him, and he's talking. This one is unbelievable. And he's talking about like, he met some players, they were so good, but they didn't handle the pressure of a locker room. In the locker room, you have egos. You have people with energy and stuff, and some of them, they were weak and they couldn't express themselves on the field because they couldn't like impose themselves like personality.
Yeah, that's how we started this conversation. You got to be yourself.
Some people, they're anxious. Some people, they're overthinking. This can kill a player.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we need more of those people in the pro level to advise the youngers.
Yeah. It's a mental game too, just as much as it's physical.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you when you're coaching? Is there anything that you specifically work on with players, or are you just making sure they're...
No, with my kids, I'm tough. I'm not gonna
lie.
Yeah. But I can do it. I ask the parents first. I do a meeting, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be like this with the kids, right? And I'm tough because we are an example for them.
Yes.
Because those kids, what they do, they go to school, home, and they come to soccer. So they have the teacher. They're listening to the teacher because they have to. They're listening to the parents because it's their parents, and they're listening to you because they want to, because they love soccer. It's the passion. This is what makes them like have happiness.
Yeah.
So the way they look at you, you're like an idol for them because they want to be like you as well. Also, I play pro. They know I play pro, so they're like, okay, me too. I want to be pro. So they're listening. So I go hard with them because soccer, it's not easy at all. It's super hard to make it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I make them have fun too because you need to have fun.
You got to.
It's at age you need to have fun.
You got to. It's crazy. For me, I didn't even really respect or love the game like I do now until after I played my best years. Once I left, it started to grow, and I don't know if it's because I missed it or what, but there is a point where you're just playing because you've always played, and then you take that as far as you can. But if you don't have that mentality shift, and I blame that on my circumstances a little bit. I didn't realize that there was a path. There was no path for me, But then when you shift and you go, no, this can be a job, and I really want to work hard. There's a difference.
No, definitely. Everyone has his own story and something that switch that makes you say, okay, that's soccer. That's my thing.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of friends that, like, it's funny because I have this image in my head where I walk from my house to the training ground back home in France. Let's say when I was 10 years old, we were like 20 guys walking from the same spot to go walk and go play. The next year, we're like 15. 2 years after, we're like 10. And 5 years after, I'm by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what makes me stay like going to practice every day,
Right.
And at the end, something that's here, you can't really explain it. That's why people are like, man, why you always like, let's say my sister, right? She will be like, okay, you watch the game on TV, right? And after this, you watch people talking about the game that you just watched, right? And after you watch the highlights, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, you can't understand.
Yeah. You just love it. You're just into it, and you know it and understand it. That's funny. Actually, that's a good point. Like, I do the same thing. I'll watch the game and then watch people talk about it. Then I'll come on here and talk about it myself. and then I'll go watch highlights after. It's just
We
crazy.
don't realize because for us it's something like usual, and it's like my sister gave birth, right? And her husband, she's like, Karim, what is more beautiful than giving birth? And I'm like, you want me to be honest? He said, it's the last minute goal in the World Cup.
Oh man,
He's not laughing.
that's the one thing. Like, just...
I was joking for sure.
No, for sure. Congratulations to your sister, by the way. That's amazing. But yeah, that's hilarious. All right, I got two more questions for you, and this is kind of more to like developing the culture. First of all, I hear a lot of people talk to me, a lot of Americans, who say, well, the first thing we have to do to grow this sport in America is we have to stop calling it soccer. And it's not just Americans, Europeans, I guess, say that to me too, or people, hearing you playing in the MLS, you're calling it soccer. Is that a big deal to you? Is that, a real issue?
Now I'm used to it, but when back home, I'm like, say soccer instead of football, that you're taking a piece, you're talking about.
Somebody gets into you. Yeah.
And you can't ever change it because football here is too big.
For sure.
So how do you call football? Throw ball, or I don't know.
Yeah. And I have this discussion a lot, and it's starting to pain me a little bit because I feel like there's words all over the world that have double meaning, and so my biggest comparison is like, are we not using the bathroom correctly because we call it a toilet and maybe they call it a loo or something? You know what I mean? Or the elevator versus the lift. It's like it's communication. As long as we know what we're talking about, it's fine.
That's true.
So yeah, I think it's more of it's the excuse to try to keep Americans in this bubble of not knowing. But
like I will be like out of sports, right? I would say to people, I'm from France, right? And one guy would answer me, oh, I have my uncle went to Italy. So, all right, so what's like the link between this? You know what I'm saying? If you have some people where it's like France, some of them, they will not know how to locate in the map. I'm not talking like bad. It's
right.
Just like a fact, a reality. So I think the country is too big that it's easier for them to get like in this bubble and not open themselves to the world.
Yes, right? I love that because that's what I think soccer does more so than any sport. Obviously, sports as a whole bring you together. It connects you to people. But because soccer is so global around the world, it's easier to understand cultures or meet people from different places and connect with them. That's kind of the whole thing.
Because football, it's more sport American.
Yes.
Baseball, too. NBA, too.
For sure.
So it's the first time that they have another sport that's getting big and that it has to be universal.
Yes, I love that. And so, again, you being in Atlanta, you actually having traveled around in the States, what, if you can think of anything, would you think is the biggest difference outside of it's just not the most popular sport, it's not the Bible? What is the biggest difference culturally that could maybe be better in America to make the sport better? And I'm thinking like fashion, music, whatever it is, like what would make people kind of gravitate to the sport a little bit more?
It's coming in 2026.
Wow. Just being a part of it, right? The World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fact.
Something that comes like you see with your eyes. Even if you don't want to see it, you see it. People coming from another country singing their national anthem at the bar, like together, happiness. I had the chance to live the Euro in France.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Like, went to the final. Like, there is no politic pressure or this or that. We forget everything. Job, social, like this guy's a boss, this guy you work as a cleaning staff. No, we all together singing, even if you don't know him, you don't know her, sporting the same color, the same people. Mm-hmm. And that's something different.
Yeah. No, that's facts. You just got to experience it. You got to be a part of it. You got to be immersed.
So this World Cup will be huge for the country.
Hey, you heard it from this man first. This World Cup is coming 2026. Hey, make sure you keep it locked on Karim Tmimi. Make sure you have his name in your head. It looks like you're going far, bro. I appreciate you coming on here and talking some footy with me.
Anytime, you know?
Yeah.
And when
Definitely.
you come to Atlanta, let me know.
I
Play some
definitely.
footy. That'd be fun.
Hey, I appreciate it.
One thing that if you want to like really live the great experience of like watching games in the games like in stadium, come to Morocco, the derby, Raja Casablanca against Wydad. I'm from Casablanca.
Casablanca. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna send you. There's one of the best fans in the world.
I'm putting that on the list right now.
I will send you videos. Check, you'll see. And after this, we link. And trust me, it's on my word. I'll bring you there.
My man. We'll definitely do that then, because as cool as the big European clubs are, I want to see some of that. Like I want to go see Boca Juniors down in, and I definitely want to go and see some Moroccan play. That's crazy. Hey, we got a lot coming. Hey, thank you for listening in. If you're listening in on any Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, please make sure to go check out my YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are out here. We're talking to pros. We're talking to fans. We're talking to lovers of the game. It's the EPB podcast. We will catch y'all later.